See. Hey everybody, happy Friday, February 23rd. You are on the TED Show with Banks Helfrich, my friend Banks. I said it right?
You did.
Episode 125. We're hitting another milestone today, which is awesome. I can't believe it. We're in the wine room at the Citrus Club, and we'd love to know if you guys can hear us or see us. June Townsend's on. I hope you're feeling better, June. We were supposed to meet yesterday or today, and she got the flu for the second time. But let us know you can hear us and see us. Give us a thumbs up. Just reach out to me. The connection here at the club is extra bad today. I think it's something in the atmosphere. I don't know what's happening. Tracy Stein, let us know you can hear us or see us. Bob Moylan. All right, we're getting a lot of thumbs up, so we're golden. You're welcome, June. I do hope you feel better. 2 times with the flu. Welcome. So you were brought to me by a friend, right? We do have an audience today. We have an audience today. Lauren is here. I wish I could turn the camera around without it falling, but I won't do that. And you sat down. I think you had absolutely no idea why you were even meeting me. And that's okay, because I go into those kind of meetings all the time. I'm like, all right, well, let's meet. But you have such a wonderful, unique background. So I was immediately fascinated. And then when you sent your bio over, which I loved, and I wish I could have gotten it in the form that you did it, it didn't translate as well. But welcome. I'm excited to have you on here. You've done a lot, a ton, actually. So give us a little background on you.
Oh, wow.
Oh, right to you, Banks. I like that name too. Where did Banks come from?
It's my mom's maiden name, and it's the name I've been using since I was 18. And I very rarely meet another. Actually, I've never met another Banks. I did have a girl in college who came up to me and said, "My brother's name is Banks," and that was like the closest.
That's the closest thing?
Yeah.
Is that a middle name?
It is.
Okay, see, I thought I found you. I didn't want to tag you on Instagram, but I thought I found you. Is your first name Eric?
It is,
okay.
With a K.
Okay, you're on there. Yes, we got all the Ks, the cuss sounds with you. Eric, Helfrich.
Yeah.
All right, so give them a little background on you, because if they've read your bio, which they have, you came up with probably one of the most creative bios I've ever posted. And I always take the guest bio, however they write it, is how I put it out there. So give them a little background, Banks.
I think my bio starts off as a human, so I try to stay as broad as possible.
Yeah, okay, so he's human.
Yeah.
We've established that, so we're in good shape on this Friday.
And then I try to, bring it down to specifics of who I am. So yeah, I'm a father. I have 2 boys, grown boys. One's an artist, and one's in college, going to University of Florida. Going to be an actuary.
Oh yeah, we talked about that. So you've got an artist, and an actuary. That is completely opposite ends of the brain, right? Like different sides of the brain.
They're both A's, but yeah, they are opposite. So I'm a father, and I'm a performer, actor, filmmaker.
Is that how you started? What did you do early in life? Are you from Florida? Because a lot of times people that I was born, and so you didn't do any of that. So people would actually, which is good. I mean, you don't want 8 paragraphs of I was born. So where are you from? Are you originally from Florida? How did you get here if you're not?
I grew up in Newport Richie, Florida.
Okay, so you are Floridian.
I was born in Tarpon Springs. I am not Greek. That was the only hospital around. And then I went to college at Auburn, War Eagle, and I ran cross country and track. Became a professional triathlete for a few years back.
Did you really? See, that's not part of your bio.
No. But yeah.
Have you left that part of your life?
It's there. I believe that we are sponges of experiences, and they stay with us somehow, and they come out every once in a while when you run real well.
So do you run and sprint occasionally, or is it just, are you a runner still? Are you still a triathlete? That's way over my head. There's too many action verbs there, but that involves exercise of some kind. Are you still involved? Do you still do marathons or triathlons?
I do not. I walk. I'm very good at walking now.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm very good at watching people walk.
Yeah.
So we're golden there. We're kindred spirits at that point. Yeah. So you did that for a while, and then how did you if you look at his bio, honestly, look at Banks's bio, it goes all over the place. So obviously parenthood is, being a dad is so important because that was number 2. on your list as you listed things out. Not that they were any specific order, maybe they were, but I loved that. But you also have been on David Letterman, which we need to talk about. You've created these characters, which you were just doing one at one of the schools, maybe more than one, but at least one of the schools this morning before you came over.
Right.
You also are a graduate of the Ringling Brothers Clown College, and if I'm saying that wrong, that's pretty close.
No, you're good.
You are also a filmmaker, so you've got this wide range of background. Is that because you grew up that way? Were you always challenged, or were you always allowed to have a wide range of interests?
Wow. At some point, I have no idea when, I decided everything I want to do, I'm going to do it.
Good. You have an epiphany at some point? Anything life-changing? A lot of times people go, it was the fourth grade.
I do not know that, the answer to that.
I like the honesty. That's good.
As I've gotten older, if I see something I like to do, I just do it. If I can physically do it, if I can mentally do it. Most of the stuff that I'm doing now is mental, so it's all.
What did you study at Auburn?
Nutrition, sports nutrition. Was getting my master's at Georgia State after Auburn, and about 6 months before that's when I joined the circus. That's when I joined.
All right, so I love that because I've never had anybody say that on the show. I mean, I've had a few people that I thought joined the circus and were escapees, but so you actually joined the circus. A lot of people joke that's like an old cliche. Well, I'm just going to run away and join the circus. So you did.
I did.
So how did that all come about?
In order to get into clown college, you have to audition for them. And they were in Atlanta at the time, and I was a bicycle courier. And on my lunch break, I went by and I walked in the back door, which is this big door, and I for an hour and a half I was in the audition. And
now how do you first of all, how do you know how to audition to be? Did you have to audition as a clown?
They want anybody that wants to perform as a clown, to make people. Clowning is about making people laugh,
Sure.
or at least evoking some sort of emotion.
So how do you go in? Did you prep something? Well, you're obviously on your lunch break from being a bicycle courier. So did you already have in your mind what your audition would be?
Mm-hmm. In college, I was with these cool hacky sack group that went from hacky sack to unicycling to juggling to chainsaws to we would juggle anything.
That's a whole nother show we're going to talk about.
And so I knew kind of the skills. Part of the skills to be a clown. The biggest skill is to make people laugh, and that took years for me to get into it, to really master it, or feel like I was mastered it. So I go in, and for an hour and a half, I'm at this audition, and I do some juggling, and I do what they tell me to do. Be sad, be happy, telling me a story, very personal stuff, and then you fill out the application, you sit it in, and the application is great because there's questions like, when was the last time you cried?
Wow.
And so they're looking for well-rounded people,
Sure.
people that are in tune with, I think, their own emotions. And I got accepted.
That's awesome.
And then from there, I joined this show for a year. I lived in a train car, basically.
See, this is all cool stuff.
4 foot
awesome.
by 6 foot train, a room, and I traveled around the country.
Was it as glamorous as it sounds? I mean, I think every kid dreams of being in a circus.
Looking back at my life, it was the most difficult year of my life. I would never change it, but I grew the most. I found out who I was. I found out what I wanted to do. I found out what my,
Well, why so difficult? Was it the physical challenge? Was it the performance challenge?
I was not the star.
I love that. I would have a problem with that too, so here we go. You were not the star.
I was not the fastest runner. I was not the strongest person. I was not the loudest, craziest person. I was not the funniest. I was not, humility. I learned
humility. Sure.
Yeah.
Because you realized that you had a passion for what you were doing, But yeah, it's a crazy realization when you go off and you realize, oh my God, I'm not the head of the class in this. And I think that's all. But you took the time, you committed, so you stayed for a year. And so in that year, you learned enough to go, all right, so
2 years actually, because I went to Japan one of the years.
And did you get to drive the little car? I mean, this is the kid in me asking these questions, right? Where the 900 clowns get out. That's one of my favorite things. I know it's terrible, but Lauren's over there laughing. But these are great. These are my questions. I don't know if anybody's even listening to me, but I love that. It's one of my favorite things where the clowns get all out of the car. They pull out the tissue that goes on forever and ever. So did you have to learn all that? Did you have to learn to be a clown? Because we know a lot. I know a lot of clowns. But a real clown has talents. They have gifts that they share, and each one has something different.
I was actually the driver of the car.
So you were the star in a way.
The driver, yeah. I was the first one out of the car, actually.
That's good.
Yes, Clown College, beautiful. 10 weeks. I worked with Dick Van Dyke. We did a CBS show. I mean, I was in a CBS special with Dick Van Dyke.
Awesome.
The great thing was you learned how to make your costume, how to repair your costume, how to put on makeup. What makeup classes you get to experiment with what is your makeup, where are your lines on your faces, where the white needs to go, the red needs to go, the black needs to go, and you got to create your character. Now, it takes sometimes like 7 years to fully get a character. That's what they said. So maybe it's like, every 7 years we slough off all of our cells and come up with the new ones. So then I took, you learn all about being a clown, but being on the road, you learn about being a person.
Right.
And that was difficult.
So there's an artistry to it, and I think people don't realize that it's not just you dress up in oversized clothes and throw on a nose and hope for the best. I mean, you really do have to practice at your skill. It's an art.
Right. Like any profession, like mortgage broker.
Oh, you brought that up. Mortgage broker, clown. They're pretty close, so I get it. I should wear a red nose. But what made you leave? So it was time to leave.
Yeah, I wanted to get into stand-up. I wanted to be a stand-up comedian, and I tried my luck at that for about 5 years.
That's not that seems like a big commitment. Is that when you hit Letterman?
No, Letterman came a little bit later. I did a job. I was doing stand up, and a guy came in and saw me, and he said, "Hey, I book actors for Universal Studios, and I think you'd be really good as a non-verbal actor." And I became Harpo Marx at Universal Studios.
All right, so there's something very interesting about that comment. In other words, please don't speak. Your acting is either really good or really bad, but please be a non-verbal actor. I'm sorry. I have the giggles today. I don't know. It's probably because I'm with a clown, or I am a clown. So you did Universal for how long?
9 years as Harpo Marx.
As Harpo Marx. Yeah. That's awesome. See, that's not in the bio either. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm learning just like you all are learning. And so you did that for 9 years. Was that a full-time job?
Right, an actor,
wow.
A performer.
That's amazing.
A street actor. I think.
A street actor. And then what made you segue to the next part of your life?
Then it was like the Letterman years.
So tell me about the Letterman. I love Letterman. I miss him, although he's got a new show. I haven't seen it yet. No. So what are the Letterman years? What did you do that you were on Letterman, I think you said 7 times or something, some wonderful number like that?
Back in the late 1990s, I put together this act with big balls, with big round objects, spheres. And I VH taped it and sent it off to his writers, and they sent me a letter back. Or not a letter, they called me and they said, an assistant to his writers called me and said, "Hey, we'd like to talk to you about coming up and doing what you do." And I...
Bring your big balls with you.
Bring the big...
Oh, God. All right. It's Friday, people. So, you're going to have to just bear with us. I'm sorry. And I've got Lauren in my eye, and she's got the giggles. So, all right. So how do you come up with an act that has big spheres in it? We'll just go with that.
Wow. So my sister was a PT, physical therapist, and she worked. She had a catalog with big gymnic balls, I think they're called. And the biggest one is 6 foot. And I bought it, and I just started playing it with it in my backyard. And lo and behold, I found out that I could get on top of it, and then I could stand on it, then I could flip off of it, then I could bounce up and down like a trampoline on it.
So did you built an act around it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then I just sent the VHS up to them, and they had no idea what. They had no idea what.
It sounded intriguing enough.
Yeah, it was like, we'll bring it up. We'll figure
Why
out.
not?
We'll figure out a bit. And they started this thing called "Is This Anything?" And I was one of the first acts. And then they just kept calling me back every 2 weeks to be like, "Hey Banks, what do you got now?" You know. And then I'd bring up this big ball, and I would be like a human paddle ball with it.
Can we YouTube that? It's got to be all over the place.
Yeah, Jiggle Man. We David Letterman.
Jiggle Man. Okay, so the character has a name.
Yeah, he does have a name now.
Okay, Jiggle Man.
Later on.
You know, later everybody's going to get on there. We're going to have to hashtag that so they can find it really easily. I mean, how do you? That's such a. I mean, it's a cool. It sounds to me. So as I'm living vicariously through you up to this point, you're having what appears to be an incredibly fun. Life. Is that really what it was like? Was it all fun and games, or were you trying to develop something on the side? Were you working on other things? You obviously have children, so I don't know at what point, if this is the point where you have children and you, how does that all work? What's the timeline there?
The children, I had children at the time. It started in the mid '90s. My kids were born, and they were like a live-in audience, which is great. And I don't say that lightly. Like,
no, that's big. I agree.
It was.
If you can't make them laugh, that's probably a difficult place to be.
Right. And I would try. I would buy 2 of everything, and one of them I let them destroy, and I just sit back and watch them, and then take what worked, and then the other one I would use in my act.
And so you took I love that the kids. So my kids. I think that I'm a comedian, and my kids just roll their eyes and are in therapy, I think, over it. I mean, it's just, they can't, they're like, "You're not that funny, Daddy." And I'm like, "But I am, I swear." But you really are funny enough to be on Letterman, funny enough to take it and make it a career, make stand-up a career, make being a clown a career. I mean, that's a lot. You took your talents and actually utilized them, and it wasn't just this pretend side gig for you.
Right. I mean, what came out of the Letterman stuff was Jiggle Man, and Jiggle Man is this character that does about 100 shows a year throughout the state of Florida. I've been on the BBC, but and it pays for my son's college. It pays for
That's awesome.
the mortgage, right? Everything I need to do, and it's fun. It's play. People ask me, "What do you do for a living?" I'm like, "I play."
Right. But you became a filmmaker in the middle somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about your films, because I think that's awesome. So at some point you said, "All right, so I want to be behind the camera."
Yes, I wanted to tell stories. I wanted to connect. Artists, I think, why we do this. I think why you do this. And tell me if I'm jumping.
You're probably dead. Straight on. So you're golden. So go ahead. Analyze me, Banks. Analyze me.
Well, we want to connect. That's why we do what we do. That's why you have this show. That's why I play at Magnolia School as a cowboy and count and sing songs and spin rope. My films, which are on Amazon Prime, I do that so I can connect with people, sharing my story.
Which is what? So how do you go from being in front of the camera? Are you a performer in your films as well?
I am. Yeah.
All right, so are you directing and writing and producing as well? So it's all you, which is great. So you finally got to be number one, or what we were talking about earlier, because you're running the show, which is awesome. But you're creating that content. It's great for you, but you're also, again, trying to connect, but give a message. There's obviously a message to what you're doing. There's something that people are receiving.
I think for me, once my thing is to connect. I love to connect. When I met you, it was like I just want to know who you are, Ted.
And that's how I am.
And every person that I meet, I want to just because I think that everybody is totally special and like everyone else. I mean, but they're both. We're both of those things.
Right.
What makes you so unique?
Correct.
And that's what I want to see. I want to see that jewel in you. I want to see that jewel in you.
So is that what your films are about? What are the themes of your films? Are they all, is it across the board similar? and how do you write the story? So are the stories similar? Are they short films? I mean, give them kind of an idea of what to look for. And obviously, when we post later, it's not time. I'm just saying it now. We want to share some of those links. I want them to be able to find your films.
Sure. Narrative fiction, surreal, and I don't know.
Short?
No, they're feature films.
Oh, they're feature films.
Yeah, and they're all done right here in Central Florida. Over the past 25 years, I've done 9 features, and 6 of them are on Amazon Prime. They're cathartic for me. I write films, situations in my life, and I write justice in it, and then I can, as a writer, you can create anything.
So I love that. So they're cathartic for you, which I think for most filmmakers or even actors, I think anybody who's out there doing whatever they're doing or what they're supposed to be doing, but you're able to create the world where it's cathartic for you. You have a purpose in mind at the end, and at the end you're feeling better, or you've processed it for whatever the issue is, or whatever you unresolved. A lot of times cathartic is it's unresolved, or something is hanging on, and you're trying to figure out a solution to it or a way to feel better about it.
Right. I am trying to decompress from whatever situation I'm in my life, or I'm trying to reason it out to figure out, oh, maybe I could have done it differently this way. And I can do that with writing. I can go, oh, I can change it. But each of my films is me. It is me, but it's also a performance. And I kind of use that both ways, because what I do now, and I know you haven't brought me up to that.
I haven't yet, but that's all right. Keep going. We're still not at first grade, so we're way above where we need to be. We're golden.
What I do now is I perform with what's real in life. I mean, relationships, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, father, son, mom, son.
So what happens? Do you have something that goes on in your life and you say, all right, so I'm going to write about it? And then when you're writing about it, it becomes a film, or do you already have the vision for the film?
That comes later, and it changes all the way up through editing. I'm working on a piece now, and it's for theater, and it's called I Love Women. I just love women. I love the way they feel, the way they taste, the way they smell, the way they look like flowers, the way they're curved, the way I feel when I'm around them. They're just so beautiful.
See, that sounds not cathartic. That just sounds like, oh my God, I'm going to share with the world what my passion is, what I'm feeling about women. I love that. I mean, I think that's awesome. And you're willing to put it, so do you put it on writing first and then make the film? Do you write the script? Do you have actors or actresses, everybody's an actor, actors involved? I mean, how does the process work? So I'm fascinated. So I Love Women's a great statement.
Right.
And then how do you get that from I love women to I'm making a film?
Okay. In the past, I would have an idea. There's a film out there that I did called The Ah of Life, and I wanted to meet myself at 18 and talk to myself at 18.
I love that. That's awesome.
I wanted to meet myself at 70 and talk to myself, and I made a film about me meeting myself at these different times. And I would write it and rewrite it and rewrite it, and then I would turn around and listen to it with the actors doing a table read, change it, and it's changing it's morphing until the end when you're like, okay, that is enough. Okay, I've got to stop this.
Right.
And I'm off to my next film or my next idea. What I do now, though, interestingly enough, is that I perform live I Love Women. Let's take that, for instance. I perform that live in front of people's living rooms. We just did one last weekend. And I didn't do that same bit. And with other actors, performers, which is kind of structured improvisation, we have the idea. The idea is, it's coming from me, I love women. And the person who I work off of is a woman. And she gives me the different perspective. And that we can take and meld it into a script, and then that ends up in my next film.
That's very cool. So there's a whole process for you. I forgot about the living room. So tell them a little bit about the fact that you go to living rooms, because that's obviously, in my opinion, incredibly unique. When you shared that story with me when we met, I thought, well, okay, so that's fascinating. So you have to have people who are at least appreciative of the arts in order for them to invite you in. And so how does that process work? I love it. That's a very cool part of the process.
It's called Black Cow Jumps, and it's immersive. It's cathartic too. It's for performers and for the guests. It is in intimate spaces, in small theaters, in people's living rooms. It's in libraries. We're at the Winter Park Library May 26th. Wine and cheese are free, and crackers. In fact, Quantum Leap is supplying us with some wine.
Gotta love Quantum Leap. That's awesome.
I love those guys.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I went to one of their wine and cheese and chocolate.
Oh, you were there? I had lots of friends at that latest
wow.
one. I heard it was awesome.
I was there.
We're gonna hashtag and tag Quantum Leap in here at some point.
Yeah. So the performers are actors, and the whole concept is, it's called the art of connection. Black Cow Jumps, the art of connection. And in our lives today, and this is just me on my soapbox, just for a moment, we are inundated, totally it's your show. We are totally inundated with computers and the eye contact. In fact, we don't even have it now.
I know. I feel like I know. People are like, I know I'm going to get stuff later. Like, Ted, you didn't look at him. Well, look how close we are. In order to get on the, like, what am I going to do?
My arms around you.
I don't know if my neck can turn that far. It's crazy.
We are so involved in that world of electronics that I feel that we're missing the connection.
I agree.
And the connection is this. It's looking, it's feeling, it's sensing, it's being present with someone. And the type of theater I do in people's living rooms is this intimate theater where we take them from laughing to crying to feeling, and at the end we have a talk back, and they get to say, oh my God, you remind me of my dad, or that reminds me of how I feel towards my mom. And it's all relationship based. And the first time I did, I'm a comedian by nature. That's a clown, a comedian. And when I started doing this kind of theater, the eruption of creativity, to be in a room and not hearing them laugh, but hearing them like what's going to happen next? You know?
Sure.
Not fiddling, not on a phone. They're just like, they're there. They're actually present. So.
That's powerful. And I think that a lot of people, we talk about it on the show a lot, people are hungry for that kind of connection. They are on their phones 24/7, and to be able to separate them from that even for 30 minutes or an hour is so powerful. A lot of times they haven't done it they can't even remember the last time they disconnected like that. So which is amazing. And a lot of people, so it's funny because the way that you're describing that, it's like a wine tasting that goes in somebody's house, but instead of the wine being the lubricant for the discussion, what you're performing is the lubricant for the discussion.
Yeah. The social lubricant is social interaction.
Right. And it's foreign to a lot of people. They haven't had it. They've had it on a very basic level, networking events, business stuff. But to actually disconnect and not have your phone in front of you is so foreign to so many people.
I went to the entrepreneurial a meetup for entrepreneurs, and I went in with the idea that I'm not going to network. I'm not going to give somebody a card. I'm not going to push whatever I'm doing. Just being there, just listening to them. And the amount of cards that I got
sure.
from people, I mean, they were, but the amount of times that they even asked me for a card, like, do you have a card, do you have a card? And just by being there, I feel I got more of a reward.
Sure.
Instead of going,
I think that's what happens.
I'm going to try to get more business. I'm going to try to.
That's what happens with these networking events, and I know I need to wrap this up in a minute. I'm sorry, guys. I'm enjoying this conversation a lot, so we're going to have Banks back. I think what happens a lot with networking, especially, or interaction with people, one of the reasons I hate name tags is because that's an immediate label that goes on you, and you have absolutely no idea. They're going to look at the label, and they've already judged you in the first 3 seconds. And so, and then my biggest pet peeve at a networking event or any kind of social interaction is people putting their card in my hand before we've even had any kind of discussion. I think people just have forgotten how to interact. They've forgotten how to be human with each other. And so what you're talking about, doing the stuff in the living room, providing people with a way to kind of, because you know if it's cathartic for you, it's cathartic for your audience. And I love that. And I think people are so hungry for that. And that's why they're out there looking for new ways to interact. These old school networking events, these old school events are not working anymore because people are tired of just the boozy, unless you're 21, I get it, the boozy kind of thing where it's a pickup thing and you're passing out cards and it's ridiculous. We do not have more room, Jen. I swear to God. See, I love her. She's awesome. I wish we had more room. I do. I need a bigger camera. We're going to get sponsors at some point, but see, that's why I love the interaction. See, she's involved. She's watching. You know why I love what her comment is? Because she's actually paying attention. And it means enough to her to make that comment. Jen Waterman, I'm saying that about you. So any parting words and we're going to share all of Banks' information on the video when we post it. We're going to try to get you links to all of those videos he was talking about, Amazon Prime. I mean, I definitely want people to know and to be able to look you up. But any parting words of wisdom for them before we head out on this almost beautiful Friday?
Wow, geez, that's tough. You put me on the spot, didn't you?
Oh God, I meant to prepare you earlier, but we were having too much of a great conversation. Anything you want to share with them?
As I go on.
As an artist, as a human being, as a dad. I mean, look, your first two things were human and dad or father. Yeah. I love that. So anything you want to share with them, things you've learned, or you could just say, no, Ted, there's nothing more I need to talk about, and your show is over. And I'm okay with that too, so don't feel like you're on the spot.
I'll make a plug at the end.
Make a plug.
Yeah, how about a plug?
Go for it.
I will be in Tampa for the Tampa International Fringe Fest with Black Cow Jumps, The Art of Connection. And if you want to experience magic, I mean magic in the sense of not an illusion, magic in the sense of people connecting. If you want to see sparks, looking into someone's eyes and seeing them for who they are, check it out. I'm also at the Winter Park Library the 26th of March.
And we'll post all of Banks' schedule. You've been a joy to have on. Appreciate you letting me have. I mean, I had a great laugh today, and it was a good laugh, like a solid laugh, which I think we all need a lot more of. You're awesome. Thanks, Banks, for coming. Thanks, Lauren, for being in the background. And Lauren actually had to turn around because we were both sort of making eye contact and both of us having the giggles. And that's a good thing. This isn't a bad thing to have that because that means we have some joy going on and we're having a good time. And I think more people need to kind of embrace that as well. So we love you guys. We will see you Monday. Have a wonderful, blessed weekend. And thank you for supporting the show.
Bye.